So I've had a week off from sewing like a dress. I've been doing more small projects and things. But I think I finally feel like using this sheet set to make a 1950s dress. I'll actually have to look up what year this one is. I'll have to look at it more closely. But basically, I want to turn this cheetah print set, sheet set fabric. I got this from probably either Ross or TJ Maxx with the purpose of using it as fabric for a dress. And I think I'm going to use this Butterick 6975 pattern. These are the size. And this is the dress. I thought it was a really cute dress design. I'm very interested to see how we do this kind of placket kind of thing. I was just curious about it and I kind of want to try it. So yeah, this is what I'm going to turn this into. I'm going to be pulling these pattern pieces out and taking a look at them and getting everything ready so that I can cut out my fabric. Alright, so to start out, I'm going to read through the instructions, but I pulled out the pieces. These appear to be the pieces for, they call it a trim piece, so it's like a decorative part of the pattern, but they call it the right trim, which this is the part where that buttonhole goes here, and then there's the left trim side. We have the back of the bodice, which has a dart at the shoulder, and here this is the center back, and they want me to place it on the fold of the fabric so there's no closure in the back, so that can be cut on the fold and it will make the back piece just one piece. Here's the front. This collar area is very interesting. Center back seam, that somehow connects to the back. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Okay, this gets slashed. So very interesting. And then the collar is like built into the dress. And then this is a facing piece, so this would be sewn on and turned inwards of the dress. So after you have the facing sewn on, you would flip it on the inside. Center front, so it marks where the buttons go. This is a pleat. Is it? Wait, let's see. Pleat lines together. Yeah. So it's almost like a dart, but not. You don't go straight up to a point. It's just like sewn together and then kind of left free right here. So you don't sew it into a point. You just kind of like sew them, pleat it together, I guess. So the front of the dress has a pleat. So right here, these are the pleats. So I think this will be an interesting dress to make, and I think it'll turn out really cute. So this is what we're going to try today. Oh, and over here I have the sleeve pattern and then also the skirt patterns pieces, and like for the belt, those are over here. I'm not going to deal with the skirt and things right now. I generally find those things really easy to get through. Skirts are super easy to do in my opinion, so I just have these pieces set aside because that's not what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be focusing mainly on like the bodice at the beginning. Okay, so per these instructions, it wants me to start with the skirt, although I am going to do that later. Right now, I'm going to work on the steps for the bodice. So I'm going to cut the front and the back, and then the facings out for the front at the moment. And then I will work on the steps of sewing the darts and everything for those. Alright, Alright, so here are the two front pieces. I have the front pleat pinned. This is a dart here, but I need to actually clip in this seam. I actually recognize this type of shaping. So this type of shaping was also used for the dress that I made. I used a 1950s vintage pattern, and that was like the Cruella de Vil inspired black and white dress that I made. But you clip into here, and this part is gonna like go around the back of the neck, so it's like, it creates like a shaping. This would go around the neck. So it's a little bit confusing if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, so this is like the shoulder seam, and this area continues around the back of the neck. So it's interesting, but we can do this. Luckily I have done a similar pattern before, so I kind of know what's going on. So these are the two front pieces. I'm going to be sewing the front pleats for this, and then this is the back piece. So there are darts at the shoulders in the back, and then darts in the back of the dress. All pinned and ready to sew. Okay, so I sewed all of the darts, and now they're wanting me to sew that center back collar area. That gets kind of weird, so we need to clip into the corners here, and we need to sew the center back. So this like goes behind the neck, this seam. So we are going to sew this. This looks kind of confusing, but this is that back part, and this like gets sewn onto that back neck area. I'll probably open this seam up though, but they want me to sew the shoulder seams together, so I have those pinned. So the front back shoulder pieces are sewn in, and I do actually need some interfacing for this because this fabric is really thin and flimsy. But they say in one operation they want me to sew that neck edge together, and then also do the darts that were at the front shoulders in like one operation, so I kind of have to pin that together. Alright, so I did get the collar area finished. It's all sewn. It looks pretty good. But I can't do the collar without interfacing because this is so drapey and soft. So I will need to get interfacing before I can finish this. I need to do interfacing in the collar, and then also in the decorative trim that's going to get sewn on, the one that looks like this area. So I need interfacing for that, and the interfacing, the facing for the dress front that goes around. So I guess I'm going to have to stop this progress for today and wait until I can get some interfacing. Okay, so I looked at the pattern pieces, and it wants me to leave the left side part of the skirt open. So there is a zipper. It doesn't mention it in the notions, but when reading through the directions, there's a little part that says there will be a zipper. So there's a zipper in the side seam, so right along here, there's a side seam zipper. So I will need to do a zipper in this. So I did I used a pencil to mark that beginning point of where the zipper, where it stays open for the zipper. So there's that. So right now I'm going to sew the sides of the skirt together. This is the front part. So I'm going to go ahead and sew those in, and then I'm going to work on the pleating of the front of the skirt. Okay, I must admit that the pleats in the front confuse me a little bit, but I finally figured out and have it pinned in the right orientation. So I think the skirt is ready. So I'm going to like just sew across this to keep those pleats in place. Okay, so here's the pleating. Looks like it matches the pleating that looks on the dress. Took me a little bit to figure that out. So this is the center front seam, and I had to like pleat this area and then pleat here on each side of that. But we have the skirt, we have this side opening, we have the dress. I'm gonna actually need to unpick this side seam for that zipper opening. Where is it? Oh, there it is. So I do have to pick that open because I didn't leave it open there. I really need interfacing to finish this bodice though. So there's that. I'm gonna need to do the interfacing, I think, before I attach the skirt and the bodice together, because the interfacing runs all the way around the opening button area of the dress, so I just can't work on this until I have interfacing. There's no way this floppy fabric can go without some kind of interfacing in there. But oh my goodness, this is just gonna be the cutest dress. I love it. Okay, so this dress is almost done. It's turning out really good. Now, I only had whites or pink zippers in my stash, and I pinned that in, but it was just so obvious on the side, and you really don't want the zipper obvious when it's in the side of the dress. So we went to Joann's after I was done volunteering at the cat rescue, and this zipper was the closest match to the fabric, so I got a new zipper, and I'm gonna take the pins out of this, take the white zipper out, and replace it with this. And then I also need to hem the bottom, and then the dress should be done. This zipper looks so much better. I'm really glad that I got another zipper instead of just trying to make a white one work. It blends in so much better. And I didn't want the fabric to like overlap over the zipper track because I hate it when fabric gets stuck in the zipper, so I tried to just have it go just up to the track. So I didn't want it to be like fully hidden just because it's really inconvenient when a zipper gets stuck on a flap of fabric. But I think I just need to, I'm just going to top stitch around it so it'll go under my sewing machine, and I'll carefully stitch around it, and I'll try to get like really close to the edge and be careful, but I'm going to need to find my zipper foot now. Going. Hi, silly girl. You getting all dirty? You getting all dirty? Oh my goodness. You get all dirty and then you rub it against me, huh? Wow. The audacity. The audacity. Come here, Amanoa. You're so dirty now, look at that. What a dirty girl.